everybody. I hope you had a great week. We had a fall through, which is always really sucky. Now, the good news, it's not good news, a little bit of an upside or a little bit of a light from our families, at least right now, who have had failed adoptions, is that about a year or two ago, I started a nonprofit called Back to the Roadmap Fund for anyone who has experienced a fall through and has lost significant money will receive a grant from us, a small grant. It's not going to replace everything you lost, but it's just a little way to help you move forward. We hope that soon enough we'll be able to extend those grants out to people beyond our client family, our client community, but for right now it's just for our families who have lost $5,000 or more on a failed adoption and are committing to moving forward. So that's one little ray of light and one little thing that we can do for our families that makes it just a little bit easier. Speaking of which, Back to the Roadmap Fund is our nonprofit, and it has a twofold mission, if you are not familiar. One is what I just talked about, to provide grants to families who have experienced a failed adoption or a fall through of $5,000 or more and who are committed to moving forward. The second mission is education for all adoptive families, no matter where you are in your journey, whether it be pre or post. The last few years, we have put on an adoption family symposium, and we hope to do so again. We recently we had to say goodbye to our very newly hired executive director for many reasons. She had to step away. That said, I'm putting it out there. We do have an opening for an executive director for our startup nonprofit. Must have fundraising experience, and we would really love them to have a connection to adoption in some way, whether it be direct or indirect. So if you know anybody who would be a good fit, we would love to hear about them. Rachel, one of our consultants, has great news that one of our families just took placement today of twins. Yay! It's always, I mean, any placement is exciting, but something just feels extra exciting when it's twins because it's so rare. So that's exciting. Congratulations to them. We'll be posting pictures soon. In fact, on our email list, if you're not on it, get on it. The very first Friday, it comes out once a week on Fridays, and usually it's educational around a theme. July was transracial adoption. But the first Friday of every new month, we recap all the wins and all the matches and placements and new families from the month before. And we share pictures. It's my favorite email of the month. So hopefully we'll get some good pictures of the twins. I spoke with a family who has been mentioning to this because it happens a lot, who has had a lot of loss. A lot of our families come to us having already experienced a lot of loss and just don't know if they can get through another loss, should it happen. Going into adoption, a fall through and financial loss, as well as the emotional loss of an expectant mother changing or birth mother changing her mind, is a big risk. It is the biggest risk in adoption if you're gonna start that journey. And unfortunately, since COVID, that risk has increased. We're seeing more and more fall throughs than we ever have. There are also still a lot of adoptions happening, and I don't think we have ever had a family who has had a fall through and hasn't gone on to adopt. And they have figured out a way, both financially and emotionally, no matter how they've come to us. So I reminded this woman today, I talked to both, but I reminded the woman that she could get through it because she's already done it. And so she's proved to herself that you can get up again and move forward. So that's one. And she said, I'm open and I'm closed. And I said, I get it. You're scared and you're trying to protect your heart, but you're open on your criteria and what you're looking for and for all the things that come along with adoption. And I talked to her about the adoption tax credit, and I talked to them about our nonprofit. I just kind of talked about the realities of adoption. You know, in a perfect world, I'd like this gender and this and a specific race, but I'm open. And if that's you, put that you're open to everything, because don't pigeonhole yourself, because chances are you'll see a lot more out there the more open you are. You know that. The other thing I talked to them about, because they're very private, and I've already experienced from a lot of people not necessarily wanting to let somebody into their lives and tell us all the things that are going on in their lives. So when you are working with an adoption consultant, you really need to commit to yourself that you are willing to be open through and through, meaning you are willing to let your consultant know what is going on in your life that may put a pause on things for you, that may have you going down a negative rabbit hole, that may have you trying to control all the things. Because if you don't let us in, we have no way of knowing how best to support you. Sometimes that means tough love. Sometimes that means helping you manage your expectations. Sometimes that means, a lot of times that means connecting you with other people who are either in the exact same space you are, or who were in that space and did something to work through it. I reminded this couple, so many people come to us saying, we don't do Facebook. And my answer now is, you have to do Facebook if you're going to adopt and use us, have us help you. And the reason why, and I'm really getting more and more adamant with it, I'm really considering, if you are not willing to be on Facebook, that we're not a good fit for you. And the reason is this: we have a wrap up, like we call it a virtual play date and a wrap up with our families who have adopted from the previous 2 months. And one of the questions I ask them is, what is the thing that surprised you most? Or what is the thing that was the thing that helped you through this process that maybe you weren't expecting? And 90%, if not higher, of them said community. And many of those people said, I didn't think I would need it. Or I was the one who said, you know, we don't need to connect with other people, or we don't do Facebook. And that was the thing that surprised them the most, because you need it. You need to not go through this in a silo. You need to be surrounded by people who get it, not just well-intentioned family and friends. It can feel lonely, it can feel scary, it can feel stressful. And I have seen it. I have seen our families who refuse to get engaged, to be engaged in our community online, because we have a private community and then we have one that's a little bit more open. So I have families that do not engage at all and won't go on because they are just not Facebook people. And I have families that are very engaged, or if they're not totally engaged, they're on there listening, watching, and reading on a consistent basis. And you know what happens? Those families know what's going on, and they don't feel like, why are we not getting picked? This isn't happening. This is, I can't handle this, down that negative spiral, because they feel supported and they get that they understand what's going on. Because in our private community, I'm in there just like I am here on a regular basis, teaching and talking about the trends and telling them what's happening with the agencies we're sending them to. And it's the ones who are engaged, who stay on top of things, who feel like they know what to do next or what to try differently. And it's the ones who are not engaged, who are asking all the questions that we touch upon in the group, but with this negative tone behind it. It's the people in the community that feel very well supported I can't tell you how happy it makes me when I hear about people in my community who have connected outside of just our Facebook group. Even after adoption, I have people in our community who are sending clothes back and forth. When they're done with the clothes, they send it to somebody else. But there is this camaraderie and this safe space and this knowledge and this sense of community that really carries a lot of weight through your journey and helps you through your journey. So if you're going to work with a consultant, I really, really encourage you to let down some of those walls and let us in as an extension of you. I mentioned last week, and I'm going to mention again as much as I can, there is such a need for Black families, for Black couples, Black and biracial white-Black couples. There is such a need. More and more expectant moms are looking for that, and there's so few. So I want to encourage you, if you know someone or if you fit that description and you are thinking about adoption, I would love to speak with you about that or connect you with Simone on our team, who is African American herself and could speak to some of the questions that you might have. So I want to put that out there. It's very weird for me to be in my house without my son. Oh, that gets me a little emotional. Anyways, I think I'll be working a lot. I'm going to try to relax and get together with people I haven't been able to see since I moved. And it was really nice resetting in Chicago and being with my people who I can just stay at their house and do nothing and just feel so relaxed and connected. We all need those people talking about community. All right, that's all I've got. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And remember to find your community, connect, stay engaged. No matter where you are in the process, you need it. It's so important. And love to you all. If you have any questions, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Bye.